Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pretenders or Contenders podcast coaches show. I'm your host, Coach Devon Powell, Law High School. I got my co-host here tonight, Midnight Rider. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, man? How's everything?
Hey, man, everything's going good, man. Just getting settled in, man. Me and the family went up to Hershey Park today, and I had to, rush back so I can get here on time to get settled for the show. So,
you know you could have rescheduled it tomorrow, though, right?
Oh no, dedication,
okay.
dedication.
All right.
Hey, everybody, we got a good show for you tonight, lined up as usual. We got two good guests on here this week. I got Coach D'Angelo Motley, assistant cheer coach at Law High School. And then we got Coach Ian Hale, Suitland High School football head coach. Both of them going to give us some insight into their teams this year, into their sports, and just stay play on the mindset where we're just trying to highlight PG County and this athletics that we got going on in the county. It's been a quiet week, on the high school front. Especially with all your AAU and your summer league basketball programs ending for the summer. So we're in a quiet period right now, Midnight Rider. So, we're gonna lean on these guests for our content for the next 2 weeks until our fall seasons get started up.
All right, bet that works for me.
All right. Before we bring in our first guest, there's a lot of news this week in the national spotlight, especially with, good old Hulk Hogan passing away the other day. Great show the other night with the WrestleManiacs. Talking about, his career and some of his controversial things that he went through. And I didn't see the whole show, but I caught a good bit of it. Just real quick, what was your take on that?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just the impact that he made. Like, there's so many things from a cultural thing at that time that he impacted. I mean, you got to think about MTV. You got to think about the cartoon series. You have to think about it seems like any show with a positive message had him on for one episode talking to whoever the kid was in the show, whether it was like I don't know if he was on these shows, but shows like The Cosby Show, Webster, Facts of Life, things like that. Just he was so ingrained in everything that was going on at that time, and for it to happen or start up as this big blow up from January 23rd to then you move forward to the betrayal at Bash at the Beach, and it just seemed like he always kept himself right in that main part. In the center line of the main event or the storylines for the main event. Personally, I leave that to everybody else that wanted to talk about it. But the wrestler, I thought he had a big impact because I don't know many kids that didn't have a Hulk Hogan doll or a wrestling ring or something of that nature. Even the shirts. Everybody's walked in the house and tried to tear their shirt like Hulk Hogan as a kid.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, definitely, I grew up a big WWF fan, and you didn't. It wasn't wrestling without Hulk Hogan.
Right.
He was just one of those main focal points that, despite everything else, it's kind of like, this is probably controversial here, but it's kind of like R. Kelly. It's like. You listen to the music, he has the hits, and, then he got the other stuff going on. So it's like, you separate the two as much as you can, but it's the same thing with Hulk Hogan, man. Like I said, you couldn't watch wrestling in the 80s without knowing and being a Hulk Hogan fan.
Right. Totally agree.
Yeah. So I know you guys touched on it yesterday, a little bit on your show yesterday. But hey, it's life. It's one of those things that happens, and you know, in the public figure, there's always some sort of controversy involved in it. So,
Oh, of course, of course.
Right now, I'll just leave that alone. So, we'll get into our show tonight. We ain't got no controversy here. We all good guys here. So, we're gonna move on to our first guest tonight. It's Coach D'Angelo Motley, assistant cheer coach and head JV coach at Law High School cheer program. So I'm gonna add him to the stage. What's going on, Coach? Your is muted. Can you hear us?
Oh, you muted your mic.
Oh, I did. I was going to say, I had to come in with the energy. And I couldn't even give to y'all. As a cheer coach, I got to give y'all all that. How y'all doing? Hey.
Good, man.
I was hearing y'all conversation about.
Hey, man, how's it going, D'Angelo? I appreciate you. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was hearing your conversation about Hulk Hogan. I used to wrestle back in high school. And one of the things that started me off was watching him wrestle, because I used to watch it with my grandma when I was a little person. But no, I 100% agree with what y'all were saying. Like that he was a leader in the wrestling community. So like, it is a shame that he's gone. But like you said, we can let that go. I just want to throw it out there.
Right. But I appreciate that, and I appreciate you joining tonight. You know, it's always the thing I'm trying to do is spotlight all of our sports in the county, and you know, you can't spotlight everything, and we can't forget about cheer, because cheer is an important aspect of my job as a football and basketball coach, and you know, as an important aspect for the school. Because you guys bring the energy, cheer hypes the crowd up, and your cheer is just as much a part of all our athletic programs as the sports are, because you travel to the games, and you're there, rain, sleet, or snow, and so I think it's important that we spotlight you guys as well. So just real quick, you know, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into cheer and how long you've been coaching.
Oh, well, thank you for bringing the attention to cheer, because like you said, we don't get spotlighted enough. We do all of the cheering for the sports. We do it for basketball. We do it for football. We've been at wrestling matches. We've been at volleyball matches. We kind of go where needed. And, you know, it's a part of our job. We enjoy doing it. That's the whole point of being a cheerleader. We stand up for our school, and we make sure that we stay committed to make sure that all of our sports feel like they've been represented in some type of way. My name, like you said, Coach D'Angelo. I've been with Laurel for, I want to say, about 8 years. Previous to that, I've worked in Montgomery County with a few other schools, Paint Branch High School, Kennedy High School, a few other schools. I've been in the game about 10 plus years, and it's been exciting and challenging along the way. It's funny that I feel like I stay in the junior varsity room, bringing in the new athletes and building their foundation to move them up to varsity so they can excel. That's kind of where I feel like I thrive at, is being in the JV lane, because I like molding the athletes as they come in, so I can teach them the right skills so that they can excel in their varsity role, but then also in their collegiate role. I am hands-on in both realms, but mostly JV. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me and where I started.
All right, good. So I appreciate that. And again, like I said, I thank you for coming on. The Midnight Rider, you know, my wife, Coach Imani, is the head coach, but she's shy, so she didn't want to get on camera. So, you know, Coach D'Angelo, you know, he stepped up for us because she didn't want to. She's too shy to get on camera. So I'll leave it at that. I'm getting cussed out in the background. Next question for you, D'Angelo. You know, as I was saying in the intro, you know, how important cheer is to the school. But a lot of people out there don't understand that cheerleaders are just as much as athletes as everybody else. as your soccer players, your football players, baseball, all the other sports out there. So if you can just shed a little light and explain, to the amateur ears out there, why is cheerleaders considered athletes as well?
So I think the easiest way to put it so that everyone understands is that your average cheerleader is basically a gymnast and a full-time dancer all in one. So it's not just the shaking of the palms and screaming cheers and chants. They're going to tumbling because they have to for us to compete at a high level. They have to learn higher tumbling skills, which makes them part gymnasts. They have to learn several dance routines throughout the year. They also have to, one thing that I feel like no one ever shines a light on is they have to condition. They have to be in the gym. They have to build up that muscle to do the stunts and the skills that they have to perform during competition time. And you also see it during our game days. You'll see them throwing tosses during football games or basketball games. These are all skills that need conditioning. And I feel like people fail to realize that all of these things encompass a cheerleader. For like amateurs, especially like I see it now, especially during tryouts, we'll have girls come in and, we want to give everybody a shot, but we also have to have some type of standard. But we'll have girls come in who have never cheered before. We have girls who come in, they cheered in middle school 1 or 2 times, 1 year or 2 years, but they really don't have the foundational skills that we need to continue to build our program. And I think over like the last year or two, Coach Amani and myself and Coach Sandra have really worked together really well to kind of push the boundaries of what we can do with the girls that we have. Like I said, one of the things that have been implemented this year is that our varsity team is actually in the gym working with some of the coaches from our staff at Laurel to build up their muscle. And this is something that you don't normally see in high school. You don't normally see high school cheerleaders in the gym lifting weights and putting in that extra work, but it's a necessity. If you see these college athletes, they're always in the gym. They have to be in the gym. They have dedicated time to be in the gym so that they can build the muscle for these skills. Tumbling, same thing. Some we do. I know for us, we do group tumbling. So like we'll take our whole squad, and it's a little bit cheaper to do it that way, but we'll take our whole squad. But even sometimes the girls will have to do private sessions, and that's another expense on top of everything else that we have going, during the year. But yeah, so like overall, I feel like people forget how demanding is, and they see the work on the back side. They just see everything that's done in the front in the public view.
So, for the ladies and the gentlemen that do cheer, when did we get into this era of the heavy tumbling and the stunts? Like, when did that kind of start?
Well, it's funny. It's always been there, but I just don't think the people who were participating in the sport were ready for it. So outside of high school cheer, there's a thing called all-star cheer, and all-star cheer pushes the limits on what you see cheerleaders do outside of collegiate, like university cheer. But like all-star cheer is where you'll get the girls who have the full tumble passes, the back handspring, back tucks, full layouts, all of those skills. And you usually wouldn't compare, but you can now start to see high schools being a little more competitive and pushing the envelope a little bit and introducing these skills in, because again, the more skills you have, the higher you score on these sheets during competition. Me and my head coach, Coach Amani, we were just talking about it. The skills have definitely increased. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we probably wouldn't be hitting the type of skills that we're hitting now. But with that being said, that also means that we have to have a certain type of athlete who can do these skills. But yeah, I maybe like I said, 5-10 years ago, never would have had these skills. I mean, we did do the basics like baskets, like basic level tumbling, but they're pulling out all the stops. The last couple of years, they've been pulling out all the stops.
I'm gonna go to the comments real quick. Midnight Rider. We have one question in there from Trent Knoll. He said, "How has the college scholarships increased for our cheer athletes over the past 10 years?" It's a good question.
So that's a harder question. So, okay, how can I answer this? So, okay, so college scholarships is just a little bit different. I feel a little bit different compared to like a football scholarship or a basketball scholarship. You technically, and tell me if I'm wrong, because you guys have have a better perspective on how football scholarships come on. But for cheerleading scholarships, you actually have to go attempt to try out. Like sometimes you can be scouted and get a scholarship for football. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
There's less likely of a chance that you're going to be scouted for a scholarship because you actually have to go and try out and perform for your scholarships for college. It's just the way that it is. We're just not as big of a sport as like a football or a basketball. So the scholarship opportunities for cheerleaders are not they're far few and in between, but they have been increasing over the years. Yeah, that's probably the best answer I can give because it's definitely not as valuable as a football scholarship or a basketball scholarship.
Now, are these scholarships for the young ladies and the gentlemen? Are they 100%? Are they paying a portion of it? How does that work?
It honestly depends on what school you go to. So if you go to like a D1 school who is I'm trying to think. I'm drawing blanks at the moment, but let's say you go to a D1 school who excels in cheerleading, there's more likely of a chance that you will get a full ride scholarship. Now, are there a lot of full ride scholarships? No, but there are opportunities. Yes.
I think it also kind of depends too, like the program, like touching on what you were saying, like, you know, just like a basketball team, like it depends on like what money they have to offer to know, like, you know, if they're going to give several partial scholarships or if they're just looking for that one amazing cheerleader that they want to, you know, kind of use all of their expenses on. Correct.
So it's similar to other athletics. If you think about it, if you look at your D1 programs, most of your D1 programs, football, basketball, that you're getting full rides. Then when you get into the D2 programs, especially schools like in the CIAA, they have a budget. So they have to split that money up as best as they can between all their athletes. So, you know, their star guard on the basketball team might get 75% scholarship paid. And then, you know, somebody else on the team might only get 25%, but they're high academic guys. So they try to balance between the academic money and the athletic money. So it's kind of similar. I see it. And from my amateur knowledge of cheer, since I've seen, over the last few years, since I've been closely watching, it's kind of like football, because it seems like a lot of the girls get opportunities when they attend camps with certain schools. And when they do what's it called, All-Stars, where they're out in front a little bit more. So it's kind of like that.
And it's good that you kind of brought up the camp aspect, because like one thing that we're really trying to do, like building our program right now, is like we're trying to get the parents to understand, like, scholarships are not just like because your child was on the team, they just gonna get a scholarship. Like, you have to have a certain level of skill to cheer in college. And like our job as high school coaches is to get you to the tryout. What you do at the tryout, like, that's on you, but we want to make sure that you have the skills to even be at the tryout. And so, we have to go to camp. We have to do clinics, or else we just don't get, we aren't giving the cheerleaders the best opportunity to be in front of coaches. Like, there are combines, like the gym that we use for tumbling, Train for Greatness out in Bowie, fantastic gym. They have a combine every year. They have a bunch of college coaches, and it's not just for like 12th graders, like it's for high school students and people that are going off to college that, want to get in front of these coaches. And we're trying to encourage everybody, like, you got to take advantage of these opportunities, because just cheering on the team in your high school is not enough to get you on the team You can go and try out, but we want you to have the skills and we want you to have been seen before. So camps and clinics is a must in high school. Like we have to put you in front of, these highly trained people that are teaching and highly trained college coaches. They know what they're looking for. So our job is to get you there.
And that's why she's the head coach, because she knows this stuff. She knows this stuff. Love her. Love you, Monty.
Love you more.
A couple of more comments before Midnight Ride, if you have another question. Sam R., if you want to know what's going into cheerleading, watch the Dallas Cowboys cheerlead the TV series. They don't play around. I'm a Redskins fan, so I'm not going to suggest anybody watch that garbage.
Well, I would like
some tumblers. Go ahead, D'Angelo.
I would like to say she's not lying. However, I always look at it from a perspective of most of the cheerleaders for football teams, outside of maybe like the Baltimore Ravens, are 100% dancers. Like that's more palm-inspired cheerleaders. They're not really cheerleaders, they're dancers. They're just labeled as cheerleaders because they're out in front. So 100% agree. They are cutthroat. That is exactly how I assure you all dance teams operate. But on a cheerleading level, they're not necessarily hitting the same level of skills. But yes, I agree.
Okay, well, I'm going to be a little biased and poor rank right now. We're not going to discuss them ever again on this show. Miller's Flow Vlogs. We had him as a guest a couple of weeks ago. My guy, he's coming on in a couple of more weeks to give us a preview on the PG County football season coming up. So glad Coach speaking to athletic skill needed to cheer. And then he came back and apologized because he spelled your name incorrectly.
Hey, Miller Flow Vlogs, can you try to put on our Sideline Junkies page kind of a game of the week for the PG County schools? So like each week going in, there's like a game that you highlight, so that way we can kind of put some attention on it.
Yeah, he definitely can do that. I'll send him a message offline too.
I want to give a shout out to Miller Flow Vlogs because every time he's at Laurel, it's never a time where he does not give the cheerleaders some type of love, some type of shout out. Like anything that he puts out there, any content that he puts out there from Laurel when he comes to our game, the cheerleaders are always included. And so I really appreciate that because, it's far few in between where the cheerleaders are acknowledged for their work during the games.
All right. A couple of more comments here. Marcus Jackson, shout out Coach Imani in the background.
Saving lives.
She says she's shy.
I am shy.
Another comment, do these programs offer cheerleaders mental health resources to deal with stress?
Are we talking about high school or are we talking about college? Or just in general?
I think he's talking more so like, is there a process, especially with these young ladies doing a lot of the tumbling and, having some of the head trauma accidents and incidents that you would get in others, in some of the contact sports. They get those too, and it's very undercovered, or I shouldn't say undercover, but it's not covered as much because you don't think about a cheerleader getting a concussion from a fall. So, like, how do we, like, if we have a girl that has a tough tumble, how do we build her back up so she's back comfortable doing that again? I ask that way.
Okay, I think that's a better way to ask it. So I think so, and Coach Imani can correct me if I'm wrong, but like the way that we coach is a balance, right, between discipline and empathy. Like we are going to make sure that these girls have all the skills necessary to do the work that we need them to do. But at the same time, we also understand that what other people don't see is there are mental blocks because you fall on your head one too many times doing a tumble pass. Sometimes you will get stuck and you'll feel like you can't get past it. We do provide opportunities and we are available to talk with them or work it out. And then we have other coaches under our staff that are not necessarily under with us. Like Coach Imani was saying, we have tumble coaches. I forgot the name of the facility, but they're 100% trained in their duties and they 100% support the girls as much as we can. We provide that assistance, but at the same time, we have other people to support because we're a community. We need all of the people. We need everyone around us to help. And then 100%, like we all go to CPR training. We all make sure that we are prepared for any event should it happen. Should it happen during one of our practices or one of our games or one of our events. But we also, before that, while we're in the midst of our training, we teach discipline in our stunts. So like we teach them how to catch stunts, how to if something gets dangerous, how to bring someone out of a stunt safely. All these all these skills are necessary before we even get to the more extreme level of stunts or a level of skills that we have. So I think that again, like you said, people don't see, but we baby step everything. Everything comes at a certain time. We just don't jump straight into the fray and like, okay, well, you're going to do a back tuck today. That's what you're going to let. No. Like there's several stages before you get to that back tuck. There's several stages before you get to that back handspring. You go from forward roll to a cartwheel to a back walkover to a front walkover. Then that moves into your back handspring. There's levels to everything. So we make sure we prep them as much as possible before we throw them into anything. And then even at those bigger steps, we're building the trust. We're building that those boundaries with each of the girls. And we make sure that they're ready before we push them into the deep end.
And then I want to just jump into and say like more on the mental health side of it. Like these kids, like we probably spend more time with these kids than their parents do, or just as much. And so like these kids carry a lot of baggage from home. You know, like we practicing after they didn't had a whole day of school, and so like things happen. They have stress about homework, stuff at home, all that kind of stuff. And like, lucky for my team, like I'm a school counselor in the building. So they kind of get a 2-for-1 special with us. Like, I have one-on-one conversations with my kids, and like, you know, the coaches, we are just very in tune with them. Like we know when somebody's off or something just doesn't seem right. So, you know, it's like, all right, do we need to have a group session, or is this something like personal where we need to take you out into the hallway and figure out what's going on? And maybe you just don't need to practice today because those mental blocks, like the stress and all that stuff, that can absolutely affect the flow of practice and safety. Because if your mind is not into what we're doing because you're stressed out about something else, that causes, you know, injury or, you know, whatever to yourself or a teammate. So we have to be in tune with their mental health and what they're dealing with. And not to say we're all up in their business, but like sometimes we got to know what's going on. I have conversations with teachers. I go to the classroom, I'm emailing, like I see the grades and I'm like, okay, I don't like the way this looks. I'm emailing the teacher myself. I don't care if the parent does. I'm going to email them because I want to know what's going on. And if it's something alarming, I'm going to reach out to the parent. Hey, I spoke to so-and-so's teacher today. Things aren't looking good. They're sleeping in class or whatever. And I suggest that you know, get a handle on it. But I'm doing my part as a coach, and I'm going to pull the cheerleader when we get to practice and say, hey, I spoke to your teacher today and they said you weren't looking so good or you weren't doing well today. What's going on? So, you know, we're having those conversations. Coach D is very much that coach. Go talk to Coach Imani.
I was just about to say that.
I'm about to stunt. Go talk to Coach Imani.
I was just about to say that. I feel like I have a little bit of difference in coaching my coaches now, only because I feel like as a male coach, I try to pull myself out of anything that's associated with that could like go over the line. So I will if anything comes up that I can't handle personally, I will absolutely be like, hey, I may end the session early. I may end the practice early. Like Coach Amani said, I'll pull one of the girls out, but I will absolutely reach out and be like, hey, Coach Amani, Coach Sandra, can you guys come around here? I think something's happening. At the time, I probably can't have that conversation, or I just don't have that level of awareness or knowledge to have that conversation. So they'll come around and they'll be a little more open to what may be happening. But I do try to stay out of the more personal conversations, only because I think I know my place as a male coach, and I don't think that's a line I would like to cross. So I tend to stay more on the technical side of things. So it's related to stunts? Is it related to the competition routine? If it's related to getting them cleaned up, if it's related to stuff like that, I am 100% gung-ho. We will make sure they look great. We will never put them out there looking a hot mess. However, when we start to move over into the little blurred lines kind of thing, I kind of do leave that up to Coach Money and Coach Sandra, only because I just want to make sure I'm respecting everyone's privacy and boundaries.
Gotcha.
Go
ahead, Coach Midnight Rider. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you can do this real quick before we get you out of here, is there anybody or you want to tell us about your team that you have this season? Maybe somebody you want to highlight. You want to talk about the makeup of the team. However you want to answer is up to you.
Okay. Real quick shout out to like my coaching staff in general, Coach Amani, Coach Sandra, and our new coach, Coach Sam. They are amazing. I feel like over the last year, we've had a little bit of a transition. So we've lost a few coaches and we've gained a few. But in the last couple of years, we have been doing so well. I feel like Laurel High School's cheerleading program is going to go places. Without them, I don't think, without either one of us missing, we would not be where we are. Big shout out to Coach Monty because she makes sure she handles everything. I promise you, she makes sure nothing goes unseen. And she makes sure it's there for all of the girls. It's funny, we have a little bit of a joke going that every year she says it's her last year, and it's never her last year. She will keep going. But yeah, shout out to them. This year, I really think that our junior varsity team is going places. I think that I was talking to my coaches earlier, and I was saying that they're a little more driven than I'm used to seeing them be. They definitely have the passion for it. They definitely have the skills. And it makes me happy to see, even if you don't 100% have all of the skills that we need for you, but you come in with the passion and the drive and the readiness to learn and pick up stuff, then that puts me in a great position to make you a better cheerleader or a better athlete overall. But I definitely think JV is getting there this year, and varsity as well. I think varsity, we basically have a 80% returning squad for varsity. So,
here varsity, we should be like, we really should be in a good place this year, because out of a team of 12, we only have 3 new cheerleaders, and the other 9 are 3-year program kids. This will be their 3rd year with us, so that's super exciting. We have 2 seniors this year, Lizzie and Kamari. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing their growth, especially Lizzie, because last name, Elizabeth Courier. She is a little more shy like me, and just one of those kids who has always been just thriving in the background. But this year, so far in our off season, I've seen her come to the forefront and really lead her team. And I'm just looking forward to everything that she is capable of. Like, it's starting to come out. Like, these things we've been seeing in her for the past 2 years. This year, I'm like, it's your time, girl. Like, shine. Kamari Oates, like, she was with us freshman year, sophomore year. She went to Randallstown High School, then she came back junior year. So this will be her 3rd year with us also. And I think she is going to make a phenomenal college cheerleader. I just want her to stay focused and, do what she knows, believe in herself, and put her talent out there, show everybody what she do. Next year, we're going to be loaded. We'll have 9 seniors next year. So our class of 2027, that's our team right now. Like, that's the bulk of them. So I'm really looking forward to those kids, my junior class, because those will be the first kids that Coach Sandra and I have coached all 4 years of their high school career. So I'm like, that group is going to be like really special. And if I'm on here next year, y'all gonna see me crying, because like those kids, like, I feel like I raised them. Like, those are my kids. So like, I'm just so excited to see where they go in the next year.
Saying it now.
Right.
Laura,
thank you guys for that. Just real quick, before we move on, because I got Coach Hale from Suitland waiting. Just one comment that I think is actually an important comment, especially in this area with all our AAU teams, all the travel 7 teams. So Coach D'Angelo, I'm not sure if you guys deal with this in Maryland or the DMV in general. Down here in Florida, the cheer coaches are complaining that travel league coaching, and the second part of it, takes too much of the kids' time, where it affects how they perform during the regular football season. Now, is that a little different up here? Because I know you guys actually like all stars because
It's hit or
Well,
miss.
I was
okay,
about to say, well,
okay.
we, I would say this: we appreciate having all-star cheerleaders on our team. We don't appreciate the schedules, but we appreciate having them on our team.
Gotcha.
Um, that's the easiest way I can
And
say to
I
put it.
understand that it's the same thing that high school basketball coaches deal with AAU and other things. So I understand that. I get that.
Yeah.
Well,
Before we close, I have one more thing. I'm sorry. I just want to give our condolences to our Largo cheer family. I just read that they lost one of their alumni cheerleaders. She graduated in 2024. So our condolences to our cheer sisters at Largo, Coach Keish and the family. Like, I can't even imagine how the girls are feeling, the ones that, cheered with that young lady. So condolences to her and her team.
definitely sending prayers out to them and the families affected by that. Guys, I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. I don't want Coach Hale to try to put up 50 points on me next year this season for keeping them on hold too long. But thank you for coming out tonight and giving us that insight on cheer. And I appreciate you guys, more than I may say. But us as a football program in law, we do really appreciate y'all and thank y'all for coming on tonight.
Thank you. We appreciate you too.
All right, that was Coach D'Angelo Motley from Law High School cheer, and my wife, Coach Imani, in the background from Law High School cheer. So now ran over a little bit, but we're moving on next. Our next guest, we're bringing in Coach Hale from Suitland High School. What's going on, brother? How you feeling today?
No, man, pleasure to be here.
Man, I appreciate you coming on with us and taking some time. Hopefully we didn't take. Well, I'll say hopefully I did take you off the field. Take a couple of minutes away from you preparing. All right, well, let's jump straight into it, man. You can just talk a little bit, man, about your coaching career, how you got started. The show was created to spotlight, our PG County athletics, man. And so, I'm trying to, as one of the football coaches in the county, I'm trying to get all of our coaches on before the season starts, man, to speak on, our coaching careers and our program. So, we just touch base on that real quick.
I appreciate you creating a platform like this, to kind of create the buzz and the interest back into Prince George's County. I don't know what's been going on lately. It's just kind of, it's kind of fizzling, And
yeah, it's been a negative cloud over us for some reason, man.
Cloud and everybody. This is like Black Beverly Hills. So if you ain't private school, you ain't nothing around here. So it's kind of the way everybody looks at it. So I kind of want to, put that pride back in the public schools and playing for your neighborhood and that kind of thing. But myself personally, I'm a Suitland alum. I graduated in '98. Played under Coach Lynch. I went to Morgan State after that. Played football at Morgan State, and once I graduated, I immediately came back to coach. I came back to coach in 2003. I started as a defensive line coach, as an assistant to Coach Aaron Kitchen, who was with Bowie State for a while. He left. I took over the D-line that season in 2003. Was the D-line coach all the way up until, I believe, I want to say 2010, something like that, 2010, when I became the defensive coordinator and took over as head coach about 4 years ago now. It's going to be my fourth season as head coach.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So you was there, Suitland, when I did. I graduated from law in '97.
Man, I was there through all the ups and downs, man. I've seen it all.
Yeah, those was I graduated the same year Lamont Jordan did. So I played 4 years against him.
Yeah.
And one of my most crushing defeats in high school was we lost to you guys down in Suitland 14-12 my senior year. Yeah. And we were up with, I think it was under 2 minutes left in the game. And I still remember this play. Y'all ran it. It was just a simple dive, man. Lamar Jordan came up the middle and just cut through the outside, man, and scored. And with under 2 minutes left, man, and that knocked us out the playoffs that year, man.
A lot of people don't know, man. Like Laurel and High Point, they were powerhouses in the 4A, man. Like before rezoning and folks going to private schools, like back when people went to their neighborhood schools, they were a force to be reckoned with, man.
Yeah, that was. I mean, yeah, you're right. We had some good teams, man, and back then during that time, man, we, like I said, we had Lamont Jordan at Suitland, you had Walter Cross at Oxon Hill. It was a battle every week in the 4A. Good old days. Good old days. One thing, well, we'll get to that next, but talk about your team this year, man. Like y'all got an exciting young quarterback down there, man, that, personally, I enjoy watching them, man. But talk about what you expect this year from the team and some of your key players.
Well, we still rather young, man. I'm really excited about this group. This group is a little more tight-knit than my other groups that I had. Not saying that they weren't tight, but, this group, a lot of these guys played on Boys Club together, and they knew each other outside of coming to Suitland. So, it's just a different energy that this group is bringing. They're still going to make their young mistakes, but it's just an excitement and a buzz going around because of the young quarterback. Suitland, being real, we not known for quarterback play. We known for running the ball and having linebackers, and and you could probably name on one hand how many top flight quarterbacks we've had here since '96. And this joker, Anthony Boyd, man, he came in here and he took us by storm as a ninth grader. Just with how smart he was and how he processed the game and how he just thinks the game. And just being a nuisance to the coach, staying up under us and trying to be a sponge for information. It's refreshing, to be quite honest. And all his teammates, they love him for it. He's delivering that ball. So you play receiver, like he the guy, man. And I'm just excited for him, man. I'm excited to see his growth and the skill players, because we may have 8 seniors, and I'm being gracious with the 8. But yeah, man, last year I think we started 4 freshmen on varsity, 1 being the quarterback. But yeah, man, I'm just super excited about this group, just to see their development and to see them take the next step.
Cool, Coach. Kind of back to you. You said you graduated and went right into coaching. Like, can you give me your influences? Like, who influenced you as a coach? Maybe inspired you to do that? Because most guys take a little time before they get into coaching, but it seemed like you did it very seamless.
Well, as soon as I came out, like, I was always cool. Like Suitland, I'm not saying other schools aren't a family, but like we're really a family, especially because of, just the environment that we're in. We have to be, we have no choice but to have a tighter knit grip on our kids, because it could go left real quick if you're really not, on your kids like that. So our coaches, I remember when I was in college, they followed my career throughout college and always checked on me and all that kind of stuff. And Aaron Kitchen, the D-line coach, when I was there at Suitland, he wound up getting a job at Morgan while I was there. So he was my D-line coach at Morgan. Then he leaves Morgan, and unbeknownst to me, he goes back to Suitland to coach with Nick. And when I got out, he kind of gave me a call and was like, well, what are you doing with yourself? Like most guys, when they get out of school, man, I'm just trying to figure it out. And he's like, all right, well, we don't want you to go the wrong way. So look here, come around here, stay close to the game. I'll speak to Coach Lynch and see if we could bring you on. Coach Lynch got on the phone. Absolutely. I was there the next day. And I can honestly say, and the guys that's been around the program, they know, outside of my actual wedding honeymoon, I don't think I've missed more than 5 days in like 20 years.
I mean, you definitely played for one of the greatest coaches, to come through PG County, man. Nick was a great coach. I knew him well. I actually was friends with his niece in high school, so I knew him well. He knew some of his other family members, man, and great guy, great coach, man. He definitely well respected in the area, and one of the fathers in PG County, man. He had a great run, man, and every time you played against one of his teams, man, it was going to be a battle. It definitely was going to be a battle because he was going to bring that energy over there, and the teams were always well prepared and ready to go.
I can honestly say, man, I'm just so blessed to be able to learn underneath him and under Ed Shields. When Ed Shields came in, and they were just two different type of styles, but man, I just learned so much from those guys to be able to try to formulate my own style when I became a head coach, and I just attribute a lot to my success just to those two guys and being able to learn up under them, man. I really appreciate them dudes, man.
Midnight, you got another question?
No, go ahead. Go ahead real quick, Coach.
All right. I was just going to ask you, man. We're both, being head coaches in the county.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, and I'm trying to do it with my staff. It's nothing like having homegrown talent coming back and coaching at the schools we graduated from, man. Like I said, I graduated in 97. Most of my coaching staff, either I coached it in high school or they played at law and they're on the staff now giving back. And you're starting to see it more and more in the county, man, where a lot of us PG County guys are coming back and trying to bring back what we had when we was going through our years, late 90s, early 2000s, man, where PG County was, one of the toughest divisions in Maryland high sports. So I was just want to make that comment, man. It's great to see, you coming back to your alma mater, man, and just trying to, I ain't even gonna say restore because Suitland never really dropped off, man. You might have a couple of years that was up and down, but just being there, man, and working with those kids, man, and all of us have our different challenges, I mean, y'all down there in the area where, kids can go left real quick. And even where we're at in law, man, I don't call them out, man, because I tell them all the time in practice, we got these fake thugs in law. And, they want to be something that they're not. And, it's a full-time job trying to rein these kids in, man, and keep them focused. So, I commend you on that, man.
Definitely, yeah, man. This environment is definitely it's a challenge, but it's also it's also a ministry as well. You know what I'm saying? Because I've had situations and offers to go to different places to the next level and all that kind of stuff, but it's nothing like knowing that you really are impacting the life of a young person and you're changing their life for the better. Because our guys really are, they really getting it out the mud, man. And I see it every day. And they coming from humble beginnings and challenging situations. And they're making the conscious choice to be different than their environment, and a lot of times the community Suitland gets the bad rap. So, we're not the hotbed destination for people to go to because people just think it's Chirac or something. I don't know what these people be thinking, but I try to make it a point to make sure that my program is a beacon of what the community can be. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we try to make sure we stay on our guys. We striving for excellence. We're not doing this woe is me kind of thing. I need my guys to make sure they had a 3.0. So when we have guys that reach that academic excellence, I'm trying to promote that, make sure I promote it on IG so people can know, it don't matter where you're from. It's about who you are and what you want as a person and the choices you make. And that's one of the main things I try to stress to my guys is just making the right choices, because a lot of times people try to blame the circumstances or blame this or blame that when really, everybody get the same 24 and you got a choice whether you want to go right or left, mm-hmm. And these young guys don't understand, you know, you control the choice, but you don't control the consequences. And once you make that choice, you know, those consequences are life-changing and long-lasting. And so you got to be conscious of your thinking all the time to make sure you're making the right choices. And that's kind of one of the things, man. And coach, you probably can understand, coaching football is probably the last part of our job. You know, we do other stuff, coaching in the county, from being a mentor, surrogate father, nutritionist, this or that. And football is probably the last thing you get. You be so happy by the time you get to football because you so exhausted from everything else, you know. So it's all a blessing, man. Just to be a part of it and to be able to help young people for real, for real.
You use the word ministry. Mm-hmm. Talk to that piece of it, because I always love hearing how coaches talk about the calling. It's meant to be. It was something I was meant to do.
Well, to be quite honest, man, when I came out of school, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do because I knew I wanted to help young people. I just didn't know how I wanted to do it. And I tried being a teacher, and I ain't gonna lie, just that money was funny when you first coming out of school, and you know they start you at that low pay scale, and I was just, you know, I'm still trying to party and do all those things, and that money just wasn't right. So I said, you know what? I got a degree in IT. I'm gonna go ahead and go that route, but I'm gonna do football and let that be my conduit to be able to change things for the youth. So I kind of been with it and stuck with it ever since. And one of the last things I remember, not to bring the mood down or anything, but one of the last things that Coach Lynch spoke to me before his untimely passing was he came in the weight room, and you know we had a good crop of kids coming back, and he whispered to me, and you know we were both sitting on the side, and he was like, because at that time I was a strength and conditioning coach as well, and he was like, "And I need you to get them right." You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, what you mean? He said, man, we got a good group here. I need you to get them right. And that was the last thing I heard from him. And it stuck with me, man. It stuck with me. So like, I just feel like I can't stop what I'm doing till I leave this thing in a better place than when it was given to me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's just kind of every day. I'm just trying to be as helpful as I can. And I just try to put all my eggs into helping the kids. I really don't try to focus on, you know, what's going on outside in the community, what's going on with the administration, the problems you get with the parents. Just try to put all my eggs and my focus just into the kids, pour into the kids, you know, just to give them guys just a chance. You know what I'm saying? A leverage at life to have options of what they want to do with themselves, you know?
But go ahead, Coach.
Man. I mean, just listening to you, man, and some of the things you said earlier, man, about pouring into your community and things like that. You know, that's one of the things why I'm still coaching at law. You know, I had the opportunity to go private schools and elsewhere, man, and it's just something about, you know, the community that raised you, man. You know, I played at the Law Boys and Girls Club. You know, when I started coaching 20 plus years ago, that was my first job at the Law Boys and Girls Club. I was 19 years old, you know, head coaching a team. And it's like, you know, that was my way of giving back and also staying close to the game because, you know, my playing time was over with, but I wasn't ready for it to be over with. So, you know, so just hearing that, man, and like I said, man, the challenges that we go through, man, and the amount of time we spend, we definitely don't do it for the money because it ain't no money in this area. You know, we got to go down to Alabama somewhere where they making real money down there, bro.
I was just telling one of my coaches, man, if I coached in Texas, I had 3 statues by now. It's just different up here, man. It's a basketball town, you know.
Yeah, but we ain't making no money on the basketball side either, Coach. So I don't, you know, wherever they're making that money at, you know, they hiding it from me. So
right.
Couple comments. Our guy Jack said, so true, Coach Hell, all teenagers see the split in the road. These kids are blessed to have you, sir.
Man, I appreciate it, Coach. I appreciate it.
I agree with that. And then question, my guy Trent Knoll, you know, former coach, said, great conversation, Coach Hell. Who are your mentors today that feed into you?
Well, 3 guys that's super instrumental in my coaching career. Coach Keith Lynch, which is Coach Lynch's brother, he was my offensive coordinator in high school, but he's been my assistant head coach since I've been, taking over. He's been with Suitland the whole time, in different positions, quarterbacks and different things. Another one is Coach Randolph Warren at High Point. He was the running back coach when I was in high school at Suitland, and also Coach Lester Overton at Fairmont, and he was the offensive line coach at Suitland back when I was there. So those guys, they always check up on me, giving me advice about this and that. I ask them because, they 1,000 years old. They ain't gonna mind I said that, but they done been there and done that, man. And they done seen it all, and they just be genuinely happy just to see me successful and to see me do well. So, I really appreciate those guys. Every time I need something, them guys, they don't hesitate to answer the phone. They don't try to big time me or flim flam me and none of that kind of stuff. Whatever I need, they always looking out. So those would be the three guys that I really point to.
Yeah, all three of them are good guys too, man. Good guys and great coaches, man. And I'm rooting for my guy over at High Point, man. I know he in a tough situation, but he gonna get it right, man. And Coach O at Fairmont, man, great coach over there. And it's something in that Lynch blood. They just know their football, man. So having him keep on your staff, man, that's a great bonus, man. Real quick before we let you go, I wanted to touch on, like I said, being head coaches. We're part of the PG County Coaches Association, man, and we got our media day coming up soon, which you're in charge of. So just speak on media day. Give a shout out to that and what's going to happen in that event.
Media Day will be held at Athletic Republic. So shout out to the guys at Athletic Republic for even allowing us to use their wonderful venue. They offer great services there. So, coaches, if you need something, make sure you tap in with those guys. But we just want to promote Prince George's County football and putting the pride back into, Prince George's County and the awesome job that the coaches are, doing with each and every team. We make jokes and, we create little rivalries and competitions with each other, but we really all in this together trying to help these kids, man. And we just want to create a platform where we can all promote our teams and our schools so that kids know that, just because you didn't get into this private school or that, no, it's other options, man. And if you really a dog like that, you can get it wherever you are. So we came together, thought of a different way that we could kind of promote, everyone's brand and everyone's team all in the same place. That's positive, and also, we'll have a couple members from each team to be there to be able to speak up for their team. So what I'll do is I'll ask some questions of the head coach, ask him to explain about his team. What would you want a new recruit or a parent to know about your team? Some of the biggest challenges, some of the biggest successes you've had as a head coach. And then I will go into, questions for the athletes, some of the things you've learned from your head coach, what you've learned about being a part of this program. So that way these guys can, further promote their school. So it's a good deal, man. And we invite the local media out, some of the social media people, some of the news crews out there. Everyone's invited. A lot of the guys that do some of the accolades and awards at the end of the season, we invite those people that are from those publications out to kind of check out the talent in the county. So that way, we could just promote the kids because really, man, this area has so much talent that it's almost like it's an untapped resource. And a lot of times when these schools come into our buildings and these recruiters come into our buildings and they're talking and they like, man, I didn't know this kid was here. Where this kid come from? And we like, and I'm in my mind, I'm thinking like, man, we've always got kids like this. Y'all just late. Y'all late to the party. I often look at, some of these 4 and 5 star guys from different areas, and I'm looking at their measurables and this and that. And the real difference is your guy just got an opportunity to get put in the spotlight. this kid may not have gotten the opportunity to get put in the spotlight. So it's not necessarily a talent difference; it's an opportunity difference. And for example, I have a linebacker right now that's doing pretty well in the recruiting circuit. And a lot of people are wanting them, but every time a coach come in, it's a surprise look of who is this kid? Coach, we just got this filming. I didn't know this kid. And I'm sitting there like, what shit? My bad. He's been on since 10th grade. Like, how y'all don't know? You know what I'm saying? But they're saying, hey man, he got to get out here to these camps. This ain't back in the day. Coaches ain't coming to these games like they used to come to, and recruiters ain't doing those, those necessary things they used to. So you kind of got to put your kids in situations for them to get recognized. So media day is just one of those things that we want to get the kids recognized.
So when is media day?
Media day is the 11th. It's the 11th. Let me look at the flyer to make sure.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. It's the 11th.
That's the Thursday?
No, the first day of camp is the 14th or the 13th?
13th.
So it's about a few days before camp, and we all just go up there, have a quick little fellowship. Everybody talk, everybody see everybody's kids, let the kids represent themselves. So it's pretty cool.
That's August 11th, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's August 11th, and it's a great event, man. Last year was my first year as a head coach participating in it, man, and great event, great setup, man. And the Pretenders and Contenders podcast is going to be there live, interviewing some players afterwards and talking to some coaches. So go ahead, Midnight. You had another question?
No, you just took what I was thinking about. So we good. We've always been on the same page, bro.
Yeah, my bad. But
you good.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna be down there, man, and it's gonna be kind of like the setup like at the boxing event this weekend. Yep. That you were at. So we're gonna interview some of the players, man, and like you said, man, it's the coaches they don't have the time as much anymore to come out to the games. Yep. And so you got to find other ways to be creative and put these kids out there. And that was like one of the bases of this show. Me starting this show was to, especially when the season starts, is to highlight these athletes, man. And just another avenue of, we both do our IG things because I know I follow Suitland, man. And y'all do a great job of promoting the school and the program, man. And, I'm trying to do the same thing at law. And it's like, you just got to find any way possible to put these kids out there because we get overshadowed by the private schools, and and it's not a secret. And I'm not hating on the private schools; everybody do your thing, but we're in our county role and our public school role, and we got to do what we got to do for our kids.
Yes, 100%.
Totally agree, man.
100%.
Yeah. Yep. Before I go, a couple comments before we go. Where we at? Okay. Coach Dre. I know you know Coach Dre. Says shout out Coach Hell for giving me my first high school coaching opportunity. Shout out Coach O for giving me my first coordinator job.
Hey, appreciate you, brother. Awesome guy, man.
Yep. Then I got Jackson. Ain't nobody in a tougher position than the kids at Bladensburg. It's one of those things, man, where it's the Bladensburgs, High Points, Northwesterns, Parkdales, Law, we're there on that borderline as well. It's a struggle getting the kids to stay motivated and eligible. So they're fighting that right now too.
Once we get that nice mix of, administration, coaching staff, parents back in that flow where everybody's on the same page, I think it's going to turn around, man.
Yes, it is. It's definitely heading in the right direction. Coach Ray also said, shout out to Coach Powell for bringing me over and allowing me to be on the staff.
Shout out Coach Powell, that's my man.
Yeah, I'm glad to have him, man. That's my guy there, man. Praises, I don't know what, but that's my guy. Jack says, I hear no football at Blade again. Now they're working on it. They had a coaching change, so they're in a transition period right now. I think they're going to be able to have a team this year. So we'll see how that goes. Jack also says you got to put out tape on these kids. Hardly any PG schools use max preps and outlet for players and programs. A lot of us do use Max Preps. Max Preps is you know, it
should be
Max Preps is
linked
just
to your huddle.
Yeah. Max Preps is linked to your huddle. But I'm gonna say this. I don't care if anybody mad at me for saying this or not. But Max Preps, they're like front runners. You know, they highlight the top programs in the country. But you're right. You know, I think it's sending out tape to these coaches. I'm sure Coach Hale has a system in play. I have a profile that I send to all the college coaches, man, that have everybody's huddle links on there, the measurables and things of that nature. But Max Preps is another avenue. Not hating on it, but it's a lot of false information on Max Preps as well.
Yeah, 100%. Let me ask you guys a question, and I asked this of all the guys in the county that I get to talk to. I just want to get your opinion on this. Okay. What is your opinion on your kids playing other sports during the off season?
So, I'm a basketball coach as well. I've always been a guy that believed in players playing multiple sports because something in those sports can help out in football. Like we try to push our linemen to wrestle, and we got a couple of wrestling coaches on our staff. We try to push them to wrestle because it helps with their hands, it helps with strength, those type of things. I'm not a wrestling guy, but I know it's a benefit to it. Then you got track in the spring. Like I love athletes to run track because I didn't do it in high school, because I didn't like it. But there's a benefit to being out on that track and training and learning how to run, how to change speeds, acceleration, that type of thing. So I'm a multiple sport guy.
Okay,
I believe in that. But we also got.
That's kind of what I was pushing my guys to do. But I'm noticing there's a distinct difference in how your guys return culturally, and almost like when you send your kids to your relative's house, how you got to retrain them as soon as they get back home. You know what I'm saying? So I see the benefits, and just from a recruiting standpoint, just getting those verified times is awesome, and it helps out. But I just wanted to kind of get you guys' thoughts on it because there are some drawbacks too. Kind of what I alluded to that last part.
Yeah, there's definitely some drawbacks to it. But my thing is, and I don't know how it is down in Suitland, but up here, Law, like our coaches, we have great relationships with each other. Like most of the coaches, we're all cool. Like the track coach is a boy of mine. We tight. Like I said, we got wrestling coaches on my football staff. So I'm a basketball coach. So I'm part of the basketball program at Law. So we got connections where, even though we're not running the program, but we still got our hands on those kids. And a lot of our coaches have the same mindset.
Yeah.
Not all, but I'm gonna say the majority of them have the same mindset. So, let's see what I had in here. Another comment. Coach Marcus, that's one of my coaches who's also a wrestling coach. Said, Coach Hale, what do you see as the next goal or accomplishment for your team this year?
One of my main things. Well, my main issues that I want to rectify is retention. When my ninth graders come into the building, to no fault of their own, and some to their fault, they're not as prepared for high school as I would like them. So you'll get a deep ninth grade class, but then you'll go ahead and slash that in half for returning 10th graders. You know what I'm saying? And I got to find a way to get the young guys, when they first get in here, to understand how important academics is to your future, and a lot of guys don't understand a lot of their core classes are in that 9th and 10th grade years. So even, naturally they mature. So around the 11th, 12th grade year, okay, now they got it. And now they got 3.0s and 3.5 GPAs, but your core GPA is destroyed because of that 9th and 10th grade year. So it's getting them, along with their parents, to understand, this is serious business. And if you come in here with the right mentality from the jump, man, you could do so many things with your life. So I think that's probably going to be one of my biggest accomplishments, is just getting the understanding of taking this seriously, taking this opportunity seriously, and leveraging playing sports to your advantage. Like, even if you don't want to play in the NFL or the NBA or whatever, maybe you want to be a doctor or lawyer. I know you want to go to school for free. You don't want to pay for it.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna show you how to do it. And all you got to do is this, and this, and they're going to pay for you to go to school. And you can go be whatever you want to be, but you got to take it seriously from the gate. And the earlier you take it seriously, the more benefits you're going to have later. So that's one of my biggest things, my biggest hurdles, and the things I want to accomplish moving forward.
Got you. And it's going back to your multiple sport question you had. You know, that's also a way that where multiple sports benefits you, because it helps keep your kids eligible.
Yep.
And you know, Coach Marcus brought that to my attention as well. That was one of his comments, that because they got to be eligible to play multiple sports. So it helps us out on the football side. And especially a challenge with these incoming ninth graders, like you said, because they get that free year when they first come in, so where they don't have it to have a 2.0, and it's like, all right, that's only year one. Like, you gotta stick to the books, because that second year, if you ain't got that 2.0 in that fourth quarter, I can't help you out, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Midnight, you got anything else?
I was going to ask a simple question. As a practice, how much do you allow, and this is for both of you, how much do you allow your upperclassmen, your seniors, your juniors, to leave the room sometimes and talk about their experiences and like the things they go through, to kind of be a window to these ninth graders and these 10th graders you're trying to retain?
I think it's almost imperative that in order for your team to be successful, it has to be player led. Like, it doesn't matter, and trust me, I went through it. It doesn't matter how much I bark, do this, do that, make sure you're on top of this. If it's not coming from your team, it's not gonna happen. And part of that is also the guys that graduate coming back and speaking to the young guys. So a lot, what we do is, our college guys that's in college, you know, hey, come back, speak to our guys, be around, you know what I'm saying? So they need to know why folks wear number 4 or this, that, and the third. They need to know the challenges, the hurdles that you went through, and whether it be good or bad, I want them to know you can make it out of this situation. No, this situation isn't greater than what you're trying to go through, and that I try to give them as many examples as possible of guys who've made it out to come back and speak at all times. So, because with this generation, it's about what they see. You can say whatever you want to them, but if they don't see it, man, they ain't trying to hear that stuff. Y'all, if you over 25, you owe to them. So you ain't trying to hear none of that. So I try to give them as many visuals, examples as possible. But 100%, man, it's got to be player led. You need your seniors to step up to make sure they speaking and being vocal. And even when it's something as simple as you're just talking football, making them speak up. You know what I'm saying? When they talking, making sure they look you in the eye when they talking, like just little things like that to get them to build that self-confidence and that character in themselves, that, you know, it just goes a long way, man. So 100%, man, it's got to be player led.
Yes, glad you brought that up, Midnight Rider, because we just had this conversation about 2 or 3 weeks ago with my team. We had a day where a lot of kids decided they wanted to miss, they didn't want to come to workouts, you know, they wanted to take a break, you know, and, you know, I got on the players that was there, and I'm like, you know, this is your team. You got to take responsibility and ownership for your team. Like, these are the same guys that after practice, you're going to leave here from practice after you just worked hard at workouts, and they've been chilling. They down at the town center chilling, and you're going to go down there and laugh it up and chuckle it up with them. I'm like, no, y'all should be down there. You know, I ain't going to say what I said, but, you know, y'all should be down there getting on them. You know, I hate to say it when, you know, I ain't promoting hazing or none of that stuff, but when I was in high school, man, if you wouldn't pull your weight, man, trust me, some things was going to happen.
Don't even go in the locker room, brother.
Yeah, don't go in the locker room. Don't go in the locker room, because it's not going to be good. So the players they gotta set the culture. And I'm sure, Coach Hale, you tell your players all the time, like I tell mine. Once that whistle blows, I can't do nothing for you on the field.
Yep.
I'm gonna call my plays. I'm gonna put you in position. But once that ball is snapped, it's all on you. So what are you gonna do? You got to take ownership of it. So great question, Midnight Rider. Great question.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, Coach Hale, man, we went longer than when we were supposed to, man. But it's always good when we having these conversations. I definitely appreciate you, man, coming on, man, and looking forward to seeing you guys this season. And like I tell everybody that head on here that's on my schedule, I wish you luck, except when we line up with each other.
Of course.
And hey, I'm happy for y'all, man. The new school, man. Y'all get the new school down there, Suitland, man. That thing is gonna be beautiful.
Yes.
I'm sure y'all gonna get a nice field with it too, man. I'm happy for y'all down there, and just looking forward to following y'all all season long, man. Like I said, get out there, do your thing, man. I love watching that quarterback, man, and I'm preparing to shut him down. So get ready to shut him down. But hey, man, I appreciate you taking time, man. I appreciate you coming on with us. And I'll see you down there on the 11th, man. And hey, man, it's almost time, as my coaches say, man, it's almost time for them pads to start popping.
Yep. Find out who's who.
Yep. Find out who's who.
It's funny you say that because this weekend, when we were at the PVA boxing event, the Upton coaches from Baltimore, they kept yelling, "The movie has begun. The movie has begun." That was their whole. That was their call. I heard that just now.
Yep. Time for them pads to be popping, man. So, all right, man, Coach, I'm gonna let you go, man. You have a good evening, and we'll be in touch soon.
Appreciate y'all, brothers. Appreciate everybody listening and watching. Appreciate all y'all for having me on.
No problem, man. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that was Coach Ian Hale, head football coach at Suitland High School, man. And man, I tell you one thing, Midnight Rider. Since I started this show, man, I'm enjoying these conversations.
Yo, you get and it was part of the reason why when he said ministry, like it stuck out to me, because when I sit back and I listen to y'all, I don't know if y'all know it, but I hear the brotherhood amongst the PG County coaches. Because y'all all going through the same struggles. And even though you compete against each other, you're also making sure that the other person's getting and being supported. And that was the one thing I loved about so far all the conversations I've been a part of. Because I can see it. I can hear it. It's a dope thing, man.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. I've said it on other shows, man. Since I've become the head coach last year and then joining the Coaches Association, being involved in that, man, it's like a fellowship when we have our meetings, man. And it's like, we line up against these guys, man. And of course, like I said, I'm the biggest sore loser of them all. So when I line up, man, I'm trying to destroy them. I'm trying to win everything moving. But outside of that, man, it's a brotherhood, man. And we see coaches out and about, man. It's a good time, man. We laugh and joke, man. And it's one of those things where it makes you feel good, man, to be coaching in the county. I feel like we get a bad rap, but we are definitely heading in the right direction of getting things back where they used to be in this county.
I love it, man. Love everything. I appreciate you even allowing me to share this space with you, brother. And it's just fun times, man.
Hey, man, look, you helping me out, man. I told you. It makes it a lot easier when I got somebody else to sit and conversate with. So, I'm trying to get on your level, man. You the mayor around here. You're on every show. You're on every show, man. Look, I don't know if you enjoy it or you just like seeing your face on the screen. I don't know.
man, you know what it is? I've been told. I tell people all the time. When I lost my pops in 2019, I made myself one promise that at some way, some shape or form, I'm gonna do what I love. And ever since I was little, everybody's like, "Yo, you should talk sports. You should talk sports." So once I got in a space where I could do it, man, they got to kick me off the show. Like you gotta do the show and just not tell me it's Aaron, because I'm gonna be there. That's just how I even ended up here. It's just if you give me a time, I'm gonna be there.
Right. And I told you, man, it's interesting, man. I've known BJ for a long time. We used to bowl together years ago. I'm talking about 20 years ago. We used to bowl on the same team together in the league, right? And back during when COVID came, and I think that's around, I think you guys started in 2017 is when he first started doing these, or 2018, something like that.
They were 17. I jumped in with them about 2021-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I ain't gone nowhere since, man.
Yeah, and it's funny because during COVID, man, I started this on IG. I was filming myself doing like these wait a minute moments, like these little rants I was having about DC sports, about the Command Redskins, the Wizards, or whatever. And BJ hit me up that time. I was like, man, you need to join the podcast, come on the show. And he said it, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And I never thought about, really joining. And, then when he reached out after I came on the show with you and Jack in the passenger seat, man, on what was that, Wednesday night?
Yep, Wednesday night.
In the passenger seat. And he asked me again, man. I was like, you know what? I love talking sports. And I was like, this is my moment right now to go out here and do, something that I'm passionate about. So, hey, I'm glad to be here, man. I said I'm enjoying myself on Mondays.
Yo, and y'all do it the right way, man. Like all y'all are, like you said about the brotherhood and the whole thing. It's just reverberating, like it shows itself. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like sometimes they say art imitates life. Well, the art of you doing the show is imitating the life that is you guys put out there every day with the PG County Coaches Association.
Right, you're right about that. Now, before we go, a couple more comments that came through. I got Kirsten Miller of the Miller's Float Vlog. Great show today. Appreciate you, brother, and looking forward to having you on in a couple of weeks. Coach Jerome said, get them pads popping. Coach Dre said, still need to know what's in that cup. You talking about your cup, Midnight Rider.
Oh, hey, man. Yeah, it's a little something.
Yeah, a little something in that cup. Coach Trent, no, great job. D, love you, bro. Got to bounce. I appreciate you, Trent, for stopping by, man. And man, hey, another show where we didn't win over. So but like you said, I got you with me, so I ain't gonna get fired.
Right, I was gonna say that's the Midnight Rider tax. Don't worry about it. You good?
Got it, man. Well, hey, man, as always, I appreciate you, man, and let me know what we got coming up this week.
All right, so this week, tomorrow, you got the Tuesday night flight at 8 p.m. Wednesday, we're not sure if we're doing a live show or if we're doing a tape, but you'll have at 8 p.m. some form of In the Passenger Seat. Thursday, or as we like to call it, Friday Eve, until that certain moment in the show, it's the Thursday Night Throwdown, 8 p.m. Then we go Saturday, WrestleManiacs. And then Sunday morning, we hit you with the Sunday Rise. And then we come back to Monday, where we start off with the Drugs on Matty Ice and his crew. And then we hit you with this time slot at 7 p.m. with the Pretenders and Contenders. And that's your week of the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network.
Yep, there you go. You have it, man. If you ain't subscribed to the Sideline Junkies on YouTube, go do that. And that way you can go back and watch all of our shows during the week at your leisure, and show some love on there. We got a great show coming up again next week on the Pretenders or Contenders Coaches Show. We got Coach Deron Thomas from Largo High School football coming on with us. And then we got my guy, Mike Anderson, former DeMatha Stag, former Maryland Terp, and founder and creator of the Grassroots Football in the DMV, man. And it's going to be an interesting conversation with Coach Mike, man. And he's a great guy, man. He's helped place a lot of kids in this area in college, man. And, you know, it's going to be a great conversation with him next week. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right, bet. Let's go. Like I told you, man, I'm ready.
Yep. The last comment, Midnight Rise, the hardest working man in DC area sports media. I agree with you, Keith. I definitely agree with you. My man is all over the place.
And you know the crazy thing is, I'm still thinking. I still got thoughts of the Saturday morning show. I used to have a joint called the Gridiron, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna take the Gridiron because I love the fact that it talks about football and kind of make it I might do it in conjunction with you, so I can get the high school scores from PG County from Friday night. Maybe I'll do it that way, and the Gridiron becomes just the recap of the night before Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan to me.
So we'll talk about that off air.
All right. We definitely do that, man.
All right, cool, man.
All right, everybody. I appreciate y'all joining in with us tonight, man, and showing us some love. And we are out of here until next week.